Hello, Layla. Here's the explanation of how to get this answer and why it's -5/2. As you pointed out in your text, log without base has an implied base of 10. So this is asking us what power of 10, what power would you put on 10 to get the square root of 1 over 100,000? So the real trick is, how do we take the square root of 1 over 100,000 and rewrite it as a power of 10? In other words, how do we start here and wind up with something that looks like that? So I'm going to reverse engineer the square root of 1 over 100,000 until we can get a power of 10 to show up. All right, so the square root of 1 over 100,000. There's actually three things you have to focus on. Number one, the 100,000, number two, the 1 over, and number three, the square root. So let's just tackle them one part at a time, starting with the 100,000. That's fairly trivial. 100,000 is 10 to the 5th power, so there's not a whole lot to talk about there. Now, as far as the fraction, as you probably already know based on what you were saying in your text, the 1 over 10 to the 5th power is the same as the 10 to the -5 power. And now the question is, what do we do with the square root? Well, the rule in play here is the y-th root of b to the x power is b to the x over y power. The problem here is we don't have a number sitting inside of the index, but a square root is an implied second root. So in other words, when you see a square root, it's the same as the second root. It's one of the only invisible 2's in math. So there is an implied index of 2 here. And that being said, we can now just use the exponent rule that said to do this stuff over here. And we can finish this off and say that the square root, or the second root, of 10 to the -5 power is the same as 10 to the -5/2 power. I think the thing that might have thrown you off was the implied 2 when you see a square root symbol.